Hey, what's up, guys? We are back, and it is the 0 hour. Tim, Lloyd, Jeff Hobbs. Long time no see, y'all. We are getting ready for Aries 22. So that means it is the preview show here, Jeff. November the 15th. That is, I'm sorry, the 18th. November the 18th coming up this Saturday from the Chattanooga Convention Center, downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee. And Jeff, excited to jump into it. It's been a while since we've had a 0 hour on here, but now with December coming up as well, we should be have a little bit heavier presence here as we close out 2023.
Yeah, and as always, our main man Kyle is, he fills the gaps for us beautifully,
Mm-hmm.
keeps us off the air as much as we used to be, which is good because again, more time me and you to spend with family. But preview shows and wrap up shows, absolutely. Kyle's great on the interviews. But we still love to dig in the previews and the look backs. So we are back for the Aries 22 preview show. And like I said, man, I'm ready to start talking some fights.
Yeah, man. If you would do us a favor out there in the interwebs, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You will get you will be let know when we put new stuff up, man. We're going to be putting the fights up after every 30 days, and so if you're subscribed, you'll know when the fights from these and all of the events are posted on the channel. Big shout out, of course, as well to our presenting sponsors at Smoky Mountain CBD. Check them out, SmokyMountainCBD.com. They will be in the house this weekend, as always. Got some awesome swag bags for us, and the scientists in the lab over there at Smoky Mountain CBD, they come up with all kinds of concoctions. Whether you need help with de-stressing, sleeping, head change, you name it, all legal and really good stuff. So check them out, SmokyMountainCBD.com. Jeff, let's dive into it. We've got 12 bouts, and we can you can see the pay-per-view Expectation Sports, of course, and then if you need your tickets, nothing like seeing it live and in person. Your tickets at fightertixwithanx.com. All goes down this Saturday night. Weigh-ins Friday night, by the way, over at Reagan's Retro Bar downtown. Those are free and open to the public, so come on through. Those will be at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time this Friday night. Come watch the fighters face off. Jeff, let's get into it.
Yeah, man, absolutely. All right, what we got? Even 13 bouts? Yeah,
12.
12 bouts
Yep.
this Saturday night. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, like you said, the QR code is there. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
QR code to take you straight to fightertix.com, grab your tickets. But our prelims for the night, we're going to start off with some tag team grappling. That is, it's Tim's guilty
A
pleasure
guilty
right
pleasure.
there.
Yeah, I'm pitching Jeff 2024 a tag team tournament again, man. I feel like we need to do it.
The tag team belts.
The
Hey,
tag
we'll,
team
we'll
belts,
pull out
man.
the old world class and do the three-man tags.
Ooh,
Three-man
trios,
tag
yeah.
champs. Which, again, side note, I'm trying not to get too sidetracked, but I'm excited. If you are a wrestling mark like myself and Tim growing up used to be, the new Iron Claw movie chronicling the life of the Von Erichs coming out in December, I will be there. It just the three-man tag team belts made me think of
Yeah, no
the good
doubt.
old
Yeah,
days.
legendary 6-man tag
Yes,
with
but
the free birds, all that.
yes,
Yeah.
always. But this Saturday, it's tag team grappling, 1 10-minute round. Uh, and that's going to be Jeff Jankowski, the Juggernaut, and Peyton Luttrell from Lawrenceburg Combat Club. And they are going to be going up against, what at this point now is becoming the OG of tag team grappling, Josh
Um,
Maynor, who just cannot stay away. He loves this shit, and we love that he loves this shit. Teaming up with Owen Rockenbach, is what I think
yeah.
you pronounce that. Representing Pettigo submission fighting. So we've got tag team grappling. It's always a fun way to get the show started. It's exciting. And, we do it just a little differently than a lot of promotions that do grappling. We keep that music going, keep the crowd pumped, and make it a live, just a live event right there with the music. Junior's tie is going to come up after that. 3 2-minute rounds, catch weight, 165 pounds. Jake Peavy from Somerset Martial Arts in Somerset, Kentucky. He's 0-1 in his junior's tie career, but he's going to be taking on a debut from Cook's Impact out in Powder Springs, Georgia, Gianni McCarroll. So two relatively new guys, one debut, one guy that's only been in there once. And these are the kids. Do you know the ages on these kids? Are they
They're
from
both 16.
okay? So more of your later teens, about
Mhm.
to be young adults, if you will, getting ready to make their mark as adults, but going to jump in there as teens and get some much needed cage time. Another tie fight. We're going to skip to the adults. Your third prelim fight, 3 2-minute rounds, 185-pound middleweight division. Justin Gatch from Striker Fight Center, Kennesaw, Georgia, got a record of 1 win, 2 losses, and he's going to be taking on a gentleman from Tenacity Adventure Fitness. That's new, isn't it, Tim?
Well,
Tenacity
yeah,
Adventure.
they actually have had a grappling program for several years, but they used to compete. They had a lady named Jill Myers that competed out of there. She was really good actually, but it's been 6 7 years ago. It's been a long time since they've had anybody fight out there. I know that they're big on your your Ninja Warrior type training and
Okay.
that's kind of their thing. But they're usually come in shape. It's been a while since I've seen them fight.
Yeah, the Adventure Fitness kind of gave that away, Tim.
Yeah,
The Adventure Fitness, that's probably some hardcore parkour
yeah.
and Ninja Warrior stuff right
Hmm.
there. But new
No.
to me, definitely. So Gatch versus Thompson tie fight, and then to round off the preliminary part of our card, we're going back to junior tie, but the first ever for us. Correct me if I'm wrong. The first ever
Yeah.
junior tie championship, junior anything championship for us. We're going to put a belt on it, as they say. We've got Chris Conway, and this one deserves a belt when you think about kids and staying active. Chris Conway from Bushido MMA, Paducah, Kentucky. Yona Yisrael's product out there with a 3-1 juniors tie record going up against the undefeated 3-0. Young man we've seen a lot of here lately from London Martial Arts and the London crew coming down from Kentucky, Trayton Byerly. Now, for me, Tim, I mean, prelims, it kind of gets the show warmed up, it gets it going. Tag team grappling just always does that for me. And I'm excited about all these fights, but for me personally, you can't just help but think this juniors tie champion 3-0 versus 3-1 has got to be kind of your crown jewel of the prelims here. We've seen Byerly. Conway's new to us. But again, a 3-1 record, as competitive as these juniors are in any promotion in our region,
Hmm.
it's really competitive. So 3-1 record versus a 3-0 guy that we're very familiar with and what he brings to the table. That is definitely your main event of the prelims for sure, and probably what I'm most excited about. And again, we keep pulling a little further away from Kentucky, but the London crew keeps following us south. So
Yeah.
excited to see how many make that trip if the bus is coming again, and how many show up. But that for me, that is the one on the prelims that I'm going to be looking most forward to.
Likewise, man. Byerly, he is all about this stuff, man. And his dad, his coach Jonathan Byerly, they're like, what do we got to do to get some sort of a title? You guys never done a title for the teens, and Byerly's only 15 years old, and his opponent, only 14 years old. So both these guys a little ways away from being able to compete for the belts in the MMA and the tie for the adults. So I thought these guys were well deserving. The London crew always travels well, and just excited to see Trayton and Trayton put on a show here, and excited to see what his opponent brings. This will be the first time that we've gotten to see young Chris Conway fighting mainly on that Kentucky scene up there with Yona Israel. But I'm very excited to see what he brings to the table. Everything I've heard about him is that he's a great kid, that he's got a lot of talent, and he's been fighting for several years, man. So 5 possible rounds here. These guys are going to go at it, and I think that's exciting for sure. And there's a good chance we will see 5 rounds out of these guys.
Is it five? Is it five?
It is. I had a typo there. It is 5 rounds though. I
Okay, I need to
just
get that changed
corrected
on
you.
my end and reprint, Tim. I'm going to
I'm
need to
so
reprint.
sorry. I know.
Okay, five.
If that's my only typo, then I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Prepare for more. Just kind of a quick touch on the rest of these prelims. The first time that we will have Justin Gatch or Vince Thompson in the cage with us. I'm excited to see both. Justin Gatch already bringing a record of 2-2 and fighting out of Striker Fight Center down there in Georgia. He's going to be tough. Looks like he's pretty well put together. And at middleweight, I expect these guys to throw some bombs. Vince Thompson, as you mentioned, coached by Alex Roberts, who is actually a new kickboxing coach at Militia MMA, as well as, of course, Tenacity there in Tracy City. He's a former Glory kickboxer from England, I believe. Really, really good, nice credentials there for the coach Alex Roberts. There, kind of new on the scene. Be excited to see what his students bring to the table. Vince Thompson here, and then of course PV and McCarroll. I don't have a whole lot of information on. Of course, they're first time that we've had either guy in the cage. Of course, PV fighting under Ian Lawler there at Somerset Martial Arts, and McCarroll fighting under Mark Cook. Cook's Impact. Shout out Mark Cook, by the way. Had to have emergency surgery. I guess he had a slipped disc or something along those lines. Hopefully you get back on your feet, my man, soon. I know we will miss seeing you there this weekend. But he speaks highly of young Mr. McCarroll. Both those guys are a little bit older. These are 16-year-olds. So and they're fighting at 165. So a couple big strapping teens. And then, of course, opening us up, as you mentioned, tag team grappling with a lot of familiar faces. Well, one familiar face on each side. Maynard's done more tag team bouts than anyone, surely. But this will be his first time tagging up with Owen Rockenbach, and I believe Rockenbach's first tag team bout at all. And then Jankowski has done some grappling. In fact, even did grappling against Josh Maynard, and so he's teaming up. This is like an odd triangle here. So, okay, Jankowski competed against Maynard, and then Maynard also competed against Jankowski's partner's dad, Ben Luttrell, but this will be Ben Luttrell's son, Peyton Luttrell, teaming up with Jankowski here. So it'll be a lot of fun. And the tag team grappling has evolved so much from, say, it's been a couple of years now since we started doing it, but it's always been a lot of fun. But it seems like the strategy we're seeing out of these teams is just really evolving, and we're seeing some really fun matches, high level strategy involved, and that's why I'd really like to see a tournament get together like 8 of the best teams we can come up with that know what they're doing here, that have good strategy. See if we can't strap up a couple champions sometime next year.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, Rockenbach wins the battle of the best name.
Yes, no doubt. Yeah, I mean that could be like a world. That sounds to me like a mid card world class guy in 1985.
Oh yeah,
Owen Rockenbach.
Yeah, Lance Green's going to have fun with that one. Rockenbach.
Yeah. So be like a boombox.
Yeah. Buck Zumhoff.
Yes. No, he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, fuck Buck Zumhoff,
Yeah. Rock and roll, Buck Zumhoff. Yeah. All right. We're going to get off into wrestling here.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway,
we're not comparing Owen Rockenbach to Buck Zumhoff.
Yes, no. Moving on to the undercard, we're going to break these down a little more detailed, fight by fight. We'll start with a fight. I'm glad it's on here, but I hate that we have to have it on here, and that is Cody Ortiz from Striker Fight Center stepping in against Brivin Sullivan from Agogi Combatives. Brivin was supposed to be defending his amateur featherweight title, so that's why I hate that this has to be on here, because if he's competing against Cody Ortiz in a Muay Thai matchup, that means that we had a fight fall off, and that's the part that sucks. Is we had a bout for Brivin that we were really proud of, we really liked and was intrigued by, against Diego Martinez from Clarksville, Tennessee, Team Wildside, and you never hope that anybody is hurt too bad, but pulling out what was it, just the Friday before fight week with concussion is what we got. Put us in a bind, but Brivin wanted to compete. He did not want to just stay stagnant and have to tell fans, hey, I'm not doing anything. So he was the first one to step out there and say, man, just find me something to do. I want to do something. And Cody Ortiz, man, like the boss that he is, man. 150 pounds, sure, I'll do it. I'll come do it. I got teammates on this card. I'll be there anyway. Let's get some stand up going. So Cody Ortiz, I know I speak for Brivin Sullivan. Tim, you'll agree as well. We speak for Brivin, and we appreciate you stepping in and putting on a fight. So yeah, 150-pound catch weight with the short notice kind of changing things right now. So Brivin Sullivan versus Cody Ortiz, Tim. in a Muay Thai matchup. What do you think?
Yeah, well, this is the second time these guys have crossed paths. Back in April of last year. They fought at 135 pounds for MMA, and at that time, of course, Briven was only 2-0 in his young career, had not won the title yet. Now, of course, 6-0 in MMA, and our 145 champion Cody lost that MMA bout by second round rear naked choke. And I need to go back and watch it, but if I can recall the first round, the striking seemed competitive. Briven got the better of him on the ground in the second round. This will be an all stand up affair, and props to Cody, like you said, for stepping in for one on short notice, for two against a guy that he knows is tough. I mean, Briven Sullivan is gonna be a tough night for anyone, So short notice against our champion, essentially. Even if it is only Muay Thai, I'm still excited for it. I'm still grateful for both guys for rolling with the punches.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't give props enough to both these guys for rolling with the punches. Um, and you know, ticket prices, they're just like inflation. Everything is high, and everybody's dollar. The fact that they want to make sure that they help the show by giving them, another fight for the card, and again to be able to give their fans something to watch. Big props and big kudos to that. Man, another one. If we were just talking as a whole, we were doing this group as a whole. This is one of those where I would say every one of these fights are. This is the one to watch for because this is one to watch for. Bantamweight females. We've got the big cat, Kate Sandmeyer from Rowan Wrestling Academy, China Grove, North Carolina. 1-0 record, but man, she was impressive when we saw her debut in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, coming back to the place, she debuted and got her first win. Kate Sandmeyer will be taking on from Cook's Impact, Powder Springs, Georgia, Bailey Flaherty. We've seen Bailey two times, 1-1
Mhm.
record for Flaherty, but even in that one loss, I mean, like, wow, what a war she put on in
Yeah.
that
She's a
fight.
scrapper.
Yes, battle tested Bailey Flaherty taking on Kate Sandmeyer. Young lady. Both these young ladies show so much skill. But Sandmeyer comes from Tim. I think we talked about it. You were telling me kind of a stock car NASCAR type
Mhm.
background, but obviously an athlete through and through to be able to step in there in another sport and perform the way she does. And you know I'm sure she had a great following her debut in Chattanooga. A lot of people turned up for her, and you got to think a lot of that is already just kind of preset group of fans from her what I call athletes, anybody in the racing, and to be able to stay in a car like that for that distance. So those fans from probably her in another sport following her to her new sport was impressive. Flaherty, who is well, gee, do I put somebody's business out there? I don't know. Connected, if you will, with Dustin Berry. I guess you can say that.
She got
Debut
mad. She said she got mad at me last time. Not mad, but she was trying to do her own thing.
trying to do her own thing. Well, I
Yeah.
get it. Well, I guess my point is though, is because of her close training relationship, or what you will, with Dustin Berry. Berry's fans are Flaherty fans. They are online pushing it too. So her fan base is growing as well because the Berry fans have taken on to her. Onto her and really show out for her and online presence from that same group is really getting behind Bailey Flaherty, and that's awesome to see. So we've got two pretty good fan bases right here with both these girls.
Yeah, and this is a fight that is really hard to call for me. I think that this is a fight very likely to go the rounds. I think that even though neither of these girls have gone the rounds yet per se, all three of their fights have been finishes. I think that stylistically we're probably going to get a grind here, a grueling win, possibly a bloody one. We'll see. But I think we're probably going to go the rounds either way. I thought that Bailey has shown just a tenacity out there, not the most polished striker, but more than willing to stand in there and bang it out.
Oh yeah.
The wrestling has looked really good, solid top control, ground and pound. We'll see if she's able to implement that against Sandmeyer, who's training over there with those Rowan wrestling crew. I'm sure they're going to have her wrestling on point, and coming off a big win her last time out, I expect her to be hungry to get to 2-0 here.
Yeah, absolutely. Flaherty, like you said, is just um, she ain't worried about how her hair looks, and I don't mean that in
Oh,
a bad way, but like she's going in there and throwing them things, and the hair just gets. I mean, she gets down and dirty in there. But
yeah.
like you said, Sandmeyer showed a lot of just a lot of moxie in the ground game. I mean, she took on what was her name from Agogi, what
Oh, yeah, Melissa Buckner.
Melissa, yeah, who was
Hmm.
very skilled on the ground
Hmm.
with her jujitsu, and Sandmeyer, took it to the ground with her, and held her more than held her own. Obviously, she
Hmm.
came away with a victory. So you got two very headstrong young ladies here that are gonna be going at it. So excited about that one. Another one I'm excited about. Don't know a lot about this first gentleman, but representing Machine MMA out of McMinnville, Tennessee. We've got a debuting Nick Merritt going up against in a lightweight bout against a young man I am excited about because I do know who he is, and he's got a young man with shows so much potential right now, and is so young in this game. So he's one of those you kind of look at and go, man, you got so much time left in this game. I'm excited to see maybe where you go. Isaiah Parker from Agogi Combatives.
Yeah, man. This one is one that I'm very excited for as well. I don't really have a whole lot of information about Nick Merritt. This will be the first time that we will see him, obviously it being his debut, but also the first time that we will have a competitor from Machine MMA out. That is in McMinnville, Tennessee, coached by Troy Eckert. He is 26 years old, so he's going to have a little bit more of that man strength, I think, on young Parker, who is only 21 years old. But then Parker kind of counters that with a 2-0 record already, so he's got some experience. Obviously, a very solid, talented purple belt out of Agogi Combatives. Really, really good grappling. I'm excited to see what the striking looks like there from Isaiah Parker. I'm sorry, Isaiah is a blue belt. Wow, that's surprising to me. I really thought he was a purple belt. So a blue belt for Isaiah. And I also know that Nick Merritt told me that he just tested for his blue belt as well. So we got couple blue belts going at it. With the fact that this is at 155, I think probably goes towards Merritt's favor, as we have seen Parker make 145. But and then you kind of combine that with Merritt's, kind of just going to having that more developed man strength. I think it counterbalances nicely against the slick BJJ of Parker and his two fight experience.
Yeah, um, definitely excited. But your mistake is that you made with the belt. It's kind of one of those things. When you watch him, you feel like this
Yeah.
is a much more skilled or
Mm-hmm.
belted color belted gentleman when you watch him grapple. So easy mistake to make when you just really think about his prowess on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so guys, the what we like to just call the main event of the amateurs. It's your last undercard fight before we head into the professional side of the card, and for all intent and purposes, I mean, this is the one they all come to see because there's
So the
been just
people's main event.
it is the people's main
Yeah.
event because this one has kind of been building up. It seems over the last few Chattanooga visits, the last few Chattanooga shows. It's one guy's teammate fighting another guy's. This one mouthing off against this one. This one doesn't like the way this one acted in the coin. It just seems like it just all has built up to this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, our 170-pound welterweight amateur champion Anson Phillips, the captain, 4-0 from Rowan Wrestling Academy in China Grove, North Carolina. Tim, um, stepping away from that welterweight division, but I promise you, we'll be wearing that welterweight belt to the cage. I'm sure. Going down in weight to challenge for the Aries Amateur 155-pound title. Um, and he will be taking on also undefeated with a 4-0 record from Cook's Impact, Powder Springs, Georgia, Dustin Berry.
Yeah, man, excited for this. This could certainly be a main event on an amateur card, without a doubt. Wouldn't have a problem with that at all. As you mentioned, former 170 champion Anson Phillips, undefeated. He's the flag bearer, for that Rowan wrestling team, and comes in full of confidence with a win over Lucas Cox last time out in surprisingly quick fashion. I think that. You know, I think Anson kind of has a little chip on his shoulder almost. It almost feels like, like maybe he's getting overlooked still. Even with the undefeated record, I think maybe he still kind of feels like he's got something to prove. Maybe, and that's me just reading the tea leaves. Who knows? But I think that this move down to 155 is going to be. I think the weight cut to 155 for him, how that goes, is going to be a major factor here. He's a pretty good size 170, man. Honestly, he's a pretty big dude. He's gonna be a big 155. If that weight cut goes swimmingly, which I've not heard any red flags or warning signs that it's not at this point, then I think he's going to be a handful. I think his wrestling is obviously there. The credentialed state champion wrestler there out of North Carolina. He is, the wrestling coach there at Rowan. And, the striking is the one thing that we just haven't got to see a whole lot of yet. So that, I think, is one big question. The jury is out still. How is his striking, and how will he handle the pressure of Dustin Berry, a guy that is going to bring the pressure, man? He's going to be in your face. The first round, is going to be hell, without a doubt. Now, we haven't seen Anson go all the rounds yet. I don't believe we have seen Barry go all the rounds. It's been a while since he has, but he has shown that he can. But now this title fight is 5 rounds, and we've not seen either guy go 5 rounds. So that's another unknown factor. I think Barry's got some wrestling chops too. You hear about Anson's wrestling. Barry can wrestle too, man. He's certainly got good wrestling. So if the wrestling negates each other, we end up having a striking affair. Can Anson hang in there with the quickness and the power of Dustin Berry, who has shown he can light it up on the feet as well. I'm really excited for it. Honestly, this is a fight. We had originally talked about doing something in the middle, putting both guys' belts on the line, but Anson was very adamant that he wanted to make that cut all the way down to 155. So that's what's going to happen here, man. And very much excited for this one. Maybe my favorite fight of the night.
Yeah, and Barry was also, even if not meeting in the middle, Barry was willing to and offered to go up to 170 to fight for Anson's belt. So there was a little
Yeah.
bit of back and forth because,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
I
you know,
don't think they're each other's biggest fan.
no, I don't think so either. But I mean, Barry wanted to. He didn't make any qualms about it. I want to find a way to take all the prizes home.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately it was Anson saying, this is the drop I'm making anyway, moving forward. So that's the terms that I wanted under, and that's where we were able to land. But yeah, man, such the tale of kind of two stories. I get what you're saying, man, and there's no real reason for it, but there's just an air around Anson where he's sitting with a 4-0 record and just almost probably it's like you said, like he's never said this. This is just kind of the way it feels. Is those Rowan guys are so tough and they're in such hard fights and they're building back records that kind of got upside down. So I don't think it's bad to say their records aren't the best, aren't they
Mm-hmm.
great? And it's almost like Anthony kind of gets lumped in with that. And it's like everybody overlooks the fact that he is 4-0. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
either like maybe the air of, oh, it's a fluke, or oh, they were easy wins, or oh, like he didn't have to work for him, or he wasn't good to get them, and he is. And it's like you said, almost kind of like something to prove or a chip on his shoulder, like this 4-0 record's not a fluke, guys,
Mm-hmm.
or just because my teammates have been in tough fights and maybe somebody's 2-3 or 1-2
Yeah.
or whatnot, that you think that I come from a gym that doesn't have tough guys, or and that maybe I've just fell in the perfect matchups to get this 4-0 record, and that's not the case. The guy is skilled, and so he's got that to prove. And then you've got Dustin Berry on the other side, who was gone away for such a long time, and when he came back in, he didn't come in quietly. He kicked in the door and said, "I want to fight every month if you'll let me, as soon as you can get me on another card." Hey, I know I fought for you 2 weeks ago. I promise I can sell more tickets. I'll fight for you again. My family's, you know, close by again. And every fight it's been something to prove. I want to prove I can win. I want to prove I can make weight. I want to prove I have a fan base. I want to prove that I can push your promotion and my fights on social media, uh, better than anyone. And so like every fight, it's been something to prove, and he's been on this just trajectory of this type of fight. And so here we are, 2-4-0 records. The guy who is still, kind of feeling like he's trying to earn people's respect, and the other one who is kicking indoors and just saying, "I'm taking everything I want right now." And they're both going to meet in the middle of that cage on Saturday night, and all the chirping will come to an end, and we're going to get to see a hell of an amateur title fight, a hell of an amateur main event. I do think if we were able to bet on this fight and there were props on it, I am betting that it does not see 5 rounds. I think
No, I don't think so either.
one way or the other, one of these guys is going to finish this fight. So my money would be on the under. Uh, what would they? They would set this one just to mess with us at 4.5 rounds. Uh,
Probably.
yeah, but I definitely would take the under on this because I think both guys are so determined. Somebody's finishing this fight. Um, so yeah, exciting. But this fight's over with. Small intermission, and when we come back, it's time for the guys. They get a little change in their pocket at the end of the night. The professionals um, are going to take the stage. Our first professional bout of the evening. Again, now we are at 3 5-minute rounds, the long rounds. Possible 15-minute fight in front of the fans in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Lightweight division, uh, representing Claymore MMA, Huntsville, Alabama. We've got Tyler Langford coming in with a 2-3 record, and he is going to be taking on a young man who, had his first professional defeat his last time in the cage. Has a 1-1 record right now, but still is kind of one of those young guns who has so much potential that we've seen. But he is going to have to come back from his first professional loss and bounce back, and that's Carter Beekman representing Agogi Combatives.
Yeah, so beginning with the professionals, wagering available, of course, through BetMGM. We have the opening odds here, and a little surprised by how wide a couple of these are. To tell you the honest truth, I'm not giving you any wagering advice here. I'd be the last person you want to get that from. But they, of course, opened Carter Beekman here as the favorite, -180, with Langford coming back at +150. This is a fight that I thought would be a little bit closer to a pick 'em. Of course, Langford 2-3, so maybe on paper record not very sexy. However, 2 wins in a row, so he is on a 2-fight winning streak coming in. Moves very well. I've watched a good amount of tape on him. Slick striking, good head movement. He's in and out, good footwork. Not a ton of one hitter quitter knockout power. That's not really his game. On the ground, he's slick. I've seen him pull off triangle submissions after he's been in bad spots. Doesn't appear to have a powerhouse wrestling game, but just very good movement, very fluid, very confident, athletic, quick. Like I said, it's the main thing I've seen from him is just like very good movement. He's a slick striker and good solid technique. And still sneaky on the ground. Beekman, of course, a powerhouse out of Agogi. This guy does have that one hitter quitter power. He's got the wrestling to back it up. Tremendous ground and pound. BJJ, I would probably give the advantage to Langford here, but striking power and wrestling, I give the edge to Carter. I think the biggest question mark here is an intangible one that is hard to quantify, and that is the fight IQ of Carter Beekman. And when Carter's clicking on all cylinders, he absolutely can beat anyone out there. When Carter has in-fight, brain farts that he could lose to anyone out there. Was really physically dominating Alex Riggs last time out. And, he kind of got caught up in a submission attempt, managed to shake out of that submission attempt. And instead of, kind of letting it back up to the feet or what have you, just kind of dove headfirst right back into another sub and not trying to beat him over the head. He knows, Lord, he knows. Nobody more disappointed than Carter after that fight, but no injuries. And he was really ready to get that taste out of his mouth and get right back in there. So I'm expecting to see a very motivated Carter Beekman here, motivated Tyler Langford. Really good way to kick off the pros.
Yeah, and Carter being back home, in front of us. I know Knoxville's not too far, but I think that's going to go right back, like you said, into the motivated Carter B
Hmm.
as being, at home in Chattanooga, in front of his friends and family. So I'm excited. I'm excited about that one. Also excited about this next one. A young man involved in this next one who we've known for a long time. It's just one of those. He's fallen into that category. There's been a few here lately where it's just like, when is this guy ever going to go pro? He's had so many, amateur fights, and it's getting harder and harder to find amateur fights because he's got such a big amateur record. But your next bout, which I guess would be our feature bout of the evening, is at featherweight, and that is going to see Justin Jamar, the sniper, making his professional debut, and is representing now Claymore MMA out of Huntsville, Alabama. So, congrats, Justin. I know not to make it sound bad, but Justin's kind of been one of those vagabonds where he's always trying to find, the perfect place for him and
Hmm.
where he can settle down and get the best looks and the best work. So congratulations on finding Claymore MMA, and congratulations to Claymore MMA for landing Justin Jamar as well. So,
Yeah.
but Justin Jamar is going to take it on a young man from Carolina Combat, a gym we know very well, who has provided us and the city of Chattanooga with some studs here lately, out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and that is going to be Kevin Peraza. So yeah, we've got a feature bout of the evening: Justin Jamar professional debut against Kevin Peraza professional debut.
Yeah, both these guys had extensive decorated amateur records. Of course, Peraza 6-3 as an amateur has been fighting for several years. I mean, he's been around for a while. He was fighting back like on the U.S. Freedom Fighter shows, so like, he has been around a good while. Has got some opponents under his belt that we are familiar with. Win over Ahmad Camus, some guys like that we have had on our events. Of course, training there at Carolina Combat under Tom Ziegler, Brian Battle be in the house in his corner, of course, from the UFC. So he's got some good guys. Obviously they're helping him get ready. Has a pretty slick ground game. Wrestling has not, in my opinion, in his fights shown to be the most powerful wrestler, but nice, slick striking, good technique, good footwork, strong submission game, and just a tough guy on top of it all. He's been in some scraps. This fight at 145. Now that is one interesting caveat here, is Justin Jamar has not made 145 in a hot minute. He actually did make his debut at 145. I remember that. It seems like we've watched Justin Jamar grow up essentially over the years. He's a guy, is no secret, I'm fond of, and is just a really good dude. A diamond, honestly, in the rough. He's one of these guys that we eyed a couple years ago, and we're just like, man, this guy, if he could kind of get his shit together, man, he could really do something. He's just an athletic specimen. The one bugaboo on Justin Jamar has been his grappling. That we've seen Justin Jamar winning fights, and then late in the fight have some hiccups on the ground that have left him on the wrong side of things. But it has been a while now since we've seen Justin compete. He has assured me that he's been working to shore up those grappling deficiencies, just awarded his blue belt. So congratulations there, Justin. And we'll see if all that holds true, man. For one, has he shored up the grappling deficiencies? For two, how does he handle this weight cut to 145? That to me is probably the biggest question. I'm not doubting that he makes weight, but it's been a while since he's made that weight, and I do wonder what sort of condition we see him in on Friday. Oh,
Yeah,
let me give you the odds real quick. This one I was very surprised they were as wide as they are. Justin Jamar opens as the favorite, -250. Peraza comes back at +200. Go ahead.
oh wow, yeah,
Mhm.
um, yeah, a lot of intrigue in this one, and again excited. Now it's co-main event of the evening, catchweight bout, 165 pounds. Guys, don't get fooled by these records. These are two OGs, and these are two warriors that have been, in the cage a lot over the years. But it's the returning Anthony the Spoiler Morgan, old school Anthony Morgan should be his nickname, representing Team NKI out of Knoxville, Tennessee now. And he is going to be going up against a man we haven't seen in a long time, but he is back, the real deal, Logan Neal, representing Agogi Combatives.
Excited for this one for sure, and yeah, don't let their records fool you. I promise this is the fight of the night candidate right here. This is going to be a war, likely a bloody one. both these guys are going to bring it. Both these guys looking really forward to a win. Logan Neal has had a rough run. Logan has had a very much a murderer's row of opponents here as of late, and that he's wanting to get that taste out of his mouth and come back and get a dub here. He has taken some time off, and I'm just curious to see if we've seen some some improvements. I don't think anybody would argue that we didn't see the best version of Logan Neal last time out against Dedrick Sanders. There seemed to be something off. I don't know what exactly, but it just didn't seem to have that bite down and kind of come forward tenacity that we've seen from him in the past. So I'm looking to see what some improvements here in his time away. Of course, he has not been away as long as Anthony Morgan, who has been out for half a decade or so at this point. Anthony, though, you talk about a murderer's row, man. There's not many guys that are going to beat Logan's strength of schedule. Then Anthony Morgan probably beats Logan's strength of schedule. If you look at Anthony's list of opponents, man, you're going to see some old school names. You're going to see some names that are in the UFC now that have been in the UFC before, and you're going to see most of those fights he probably came up on the wrong side of, but he probably went all the rounds with them, and it was never an easy out. Anthony the Spoiler Morgan, he's earned that nickname from going on the road as the spoiler in all these guys' hometowns, and sometimes he wins, sometimes he don't, but there's no doubt you're going to have to earn it with Anthony. Now, the question here to me is, obviously, what's Anthony look like after this many years? The sport has changed a lot. Quite honestly, in 5 years, a lot can happen. The sport has evolved. That said, it's not like Anthony has been sitting on the couch. He's been training brown belt and BJJ. He's been training, cornering a lot of those guys that fight out of NKI, training with Big John Hall up there in Newport. Man, this is one that I am low key, like, kind of stoked for.
Yeah, because even though the sport has been evolving, Logan is still, though, a throwback to that old school fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Though, he's not one of the young hybrid type up and comers. Logan is very much a throwback to the type of fighter when Anthony was fighting. So that style is still going to be the same type of fight, the same type
Mm-hmm.
style of fight that Anthony found himself in years ago. Logan's going to give him that fight because that's where Logan flourishes, is those old school, plant your feet in the middle of the cage and let's just throw down and see who can outlast the other one. So this is going to be very much, the throwback's the best word I can come up with, a throwback to the yesteryear type of fight between two guys, two studs, man. And like you said, I said, no need to even announce their records. Not that we're trying to hide them; they're irrelevant in a fight like this. These are two
Mm-hmm.
dogs that just came to put on a show and fight, and looking to come out with their hand raised because they need it, they want it, and it doesn't matter to both of these guys right here. They've been through everything, they've seen it all. Like you said, neither has taken an easy path to where they're at right now. To them, they're both 0-0, looking for their first win. It's kind of like the old coaching football thing. 1-0 each week. That's your goal.
Yeah.
You're just trying to get to 1-0 this weekend, and it's going to make for an exciting fight. All right, man. With that being said, we are at the end, the last one here, and some people might feel it's a surprise, but I mean, honestly, damn it ain't a surprise to us. The women are taking center stage and closing out the show. And ask me why, and I'll tell you every time. It's because they don't let you down. They show out. Like, they will also plant their feet in the center of that cage and throw down and put on a show, and they will have the crowd on their feet. So why not? Why not? A tough and gritty young lady from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In fact, we're recording this. I don't know when we're going to post it, tonight, tomorrow, but it's Wednesday right now. She's probably already in Chattanooga right now. She's already boarded a plane and in Chattanooga right now, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, representing Matt Factory with a 2-1 professional record. Cheyenne Hall, man, I don't mean dirty and filthy in a bad way. I'm talking dirty and filthy in that MMA way. Like she's a bruiser, and
Mm-hmm.
she will be coming to Chattanooga to take on essentially a hometown girl, but she will tell you, I don't live in Chattanooga and I'm not from Chattanooga, but she trains a lot in Chattanooga
Yeah.
with Jeff Powell, but representing Tom Galicchio's Militia MMA, the one, the only 1-0 undefeated, Mary the Mare Bear Rosenbeck. Another one, though, we talk about how gritty and tough and dirty and filthy Cheyenne Hall is. Mary Rosenbeck is very much all of those things, too. Um, just kind of in a different way to me. Hall will take you down, and she is that dirty ground and pound,
Mm.
you know,
Uh,
forearm grinded. Mary is the plant her feet. The hair is going to frizz up, and we're going to throw. And yes, I show damage, and I don't give a shit. My nose is going to be crooked. It's going to be busted. My eyes are going to be watery. I'm going to be scarred up. All that, but damn it, we're going to put on a show type of fighter. So very much the same type of fighter as Cheyenne Hall. So why in the hell would we end the night with what we know is going to be just a dog fight, Tim? This is going to be. I don't know if it's going all three of the 5 minute rounds. It very well could, but if it does, it is going to be one of those like you know, 15 minutes of holy shit. How do
yeah.
keep going type of fights?
Yeah, man. I think that this one is going to have the fans on their feet. Mary Rosenbeck, obviously, will have the hometown crowd behind her. Something that Cheyenne Hall is used to having. You know, she's got a nice fan base herself. When she fights up at home, this will be her first time. I watched an interview with her. This will be her first time flying for a fight. However, she did make a long flight over to Iceland to do a lot of training for this with Gunnar Nelson and Craig Jones. So obviously, she's been working on those ground skills, those grappling skills, which the layman would see to be the path to victory against Mary Rosenbeck. You know, Mary Rosenbeck is going to want to keep this thing standing. There's no secret to that. However, she has been improving on her grappling. She has been improving on her takedown defense, things like that. So I don't think she's going to be an easy task to take down. But I don't think that we're going to see Mary trying to initiate too many takedowns here. And I think that's going to be where the fight's won or lost. You know, is Cheyenne able to get the fight down to the ground, control Mary, or ground and pound, submit her? Is Mary going to be able to keep the fight standing, put together the volume to try to outpace Cheyenne, outwork her, either knock her out or get that 2 out of 3 rounds for a decision victory? Of course, Cheyenne coached by former UFC heavyweight Chris Dempsey, so her wrestling is going to be on point. Both these girls are going to be hungry too. The 145 pro division is one that at 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, you can get some big opportunities. So for one of these girls to get to 2-0, or one of these girls to get to 3-1, it's a big win.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it is what it is, man. And in the female mixed martial arts game, um, there's still, relatively speaking, a small number of females doing this, and every promoter though knows, just like we do, and putting them in the main event. Every promoter knows that the females bring it, man, and they're a huge part of every show that they're on, and I mean their value, uh, without question, uh, their value is tremendous to a card. So that being said, there's a lot of promoters that want female fighters, and still, relatively compared to the men, a small number of females that are out there available. And you still have your Invictas running shows, and uh, they got to get these girls from somewhere for these bigger opportunities, to try to get them up the ranks and in quote unquote the bigger promotions and the bigger stages and bigger paydays. So girls with 2-0 and 3-0 records are getting solid opportunities, and both of these girls fall right into that category. Whether it's a 3-1 professional record or a 2-0 professional record, either one of these girls is going to be right there in that conversation. Where I guarantee you, if they're not contacting us, like, hey, how do we get in touch with Mary or Cheyenne? They're contacting their gyms or somebody.
Mm,
If they walk away out of this, with a victory Saturday night, somebody's reaching out to them. I'm sure
yeah.
pretty darn soon. So,
And
man,
not to interrupt you, but real quick, I want to give you the odds. I didn't say the odds on those last two. Logan Neal opening as the favorite, minus 180 over Anthony Morgan, back at plus 150, a little wider than what I expected there. They got the last one right, I think, though. Cheyenne Hall, oh so slight favorite, minus 130. Rosenbeck coming back, even money, plus 100.
yeah, and I think that those main event odds, like I said, I agree with them, and it's just solely that edge is going to come out with the three professional fights as opposed to one, and probably what they would, the level of competition
Mm.
in the uh, in the professional fight. So, Tim, man, excited to be back in Chattanooga. Excited for what's to come in December, finishing out the year. It's been another fun one, and what a way to end it. Chattanooga, Tennessee, Aries 22. You've got Phillips and Barry, and Hall and Rosenbeck. Man, it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm excited to close out 2024 in Chattanooga. Of course, we've got one more to close out officially at the Underground in December, but this will be our last Chattanooga show until what, March or so of next year. So,
March 8th
it,
or something.
definitely excited to see the Chattanooga crowd one last time this year, and they typically show out, man. A great venue downtown. Don't miss it. It will be a lot of fun. Come meet Rampage too. Rampage makes his debut at both the weigh-ins and the show. So come check that out. It's pretty cool.
Not of the Quentin sort, but yeah, man, having a little fun. I mean, who wouldn't want a mascot? Come on, the ram head logo that you see on everything we've got. Rampage, yeah, named by fans. Kyle Mays put out a little, I guess you call it a contest or game to name our mascot, and that was the one that everyone agreed just fit
Yeah.
just a little bit more than the others. So yeah, our our our, our mascot Rampage will be in the
He'll be in
house.
the house. He'll be happy to take pictures with the kids.
Yeah.
Feel free to get pictures with Rampage. Share them on social media. We'd appreciate that for sure. And give us a like one more time, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Jeff, if any other closing thoughts, we'll get on out of here, man.
No, but just again, fans, as you know, it's Chattanooga. So what does that mean? UFC's Trevor Peak will be in the house. I
Yeah.
guarantee you. Recently, coming off a UFC Dana White Contender Series win, Torres Finney, I'm sure will be in the house. So there's going to be a lot of people there. Brian Battle, we've already
Brian
talked
Battle.
about, will be in the house.
Yep.
Now, don't bother him too much. He's going to be cornering. He's going to be all business.
Real nice guy, though. Super
But
nice guy.
super nice guy, and I promise you, when that fight is over, he will shake as many hands and take
Mhm.
pictures with you too. So a lot of fun, exciting people that you watch usually on ESPN Plus or pay per view will be in the house, and yeah, come on out. Tim, I guess one last thing, we're doing Reagan's Retro Bar in
Yep.
the evening, so. After we get done with the official weigh-ins earlier in the day, we're going to come back to Reagan's at night. That's
Mhm.
always a fun way to close out Friday night before we start putting the cage together. Is to get everybody to come have some fun at Reagan's.
He got rowdy there last
Yeah,
time too.
it gets loud and rowdy in there, and I'm sure with this Barry and Anson fight, it's going to
Mhm.
get rowdy again. But that was what makes the shit fun, man.
Yeah.
So if you can come out to Reagan's Friday night for the ceremony weigh-ins, and I'm going to shut up now so we can get off here.
All right, for Jeff Hobbs, I'm Tim Loy. We will see you guys next week with a recap show, and then it's all systems go underground December 15th. Badass card that we'll get into that next week, man. Can't wait. Got some really, really good fights for y'all on that one. Tickets, fightertix.com, pay-per-view, Spectation Sports. See y'all next time.
Yep.